just for my own improvement, really. The goal for this class is to learn the basics of putting material into a website, and then the second goal is to leave with a Google site and a link to that Google site that you can share on our USD250 district page, so that you can give it to Zach Fletcher and he can link directly to it from your site, or from our website. What I'd like to see in some of this is relevant material to your job, your role as a teacher here in the district. Do you have any material with you, or did anybody bring a computer, like pictures of any of yourself or anything like that? We can find some things online and mock up stuff. We're going to have some training time. I'm going to go over how I would create a site, and then we'll do your hands-on time. And the next session, of course, we went over this, is Weebly and Wix, which is a totally different online creation tool than Google Sites. Google Sites comes from Google, and it's part of our district provided services that we get from Google. So one way that you can get started is to sign in, and the easiest way is to go to our website and click on webmail. So I'll get everybody logged in at least, and then we'll come back up to the front here. So this is a student account, yep. Go ahead and hit add account for yours. Sign in with your full email address and password.
Now, I've already had
You got a site created already?
yeah. And I was hoping that I would learn all kinds of stuff. Because I hate it. I hate
It's hard to manage
it.
sometimes.
Is. Just like now, I don't know how to get to the where you go to edit it, and then
Okay. Sign in.
yeah, in the email, and then there's this thingy right there.
No, I don't
You go
see.
to-
Okay, go click on that.
Yeah, and then that takes you to sites.
Okay, is that where I want to be? Is that where he wants us?
Well, that's where I go to do my website. So I'm gonna wait though for,
Yeah, I didn't know if I was supposed to be on this page with just the email.
yeah. I got sidetracked with one.
Okay, I didn't pay attention. What did you just tell her on that
Well-
email page? And then what?
Well, I'm in the email right now, but I bet what he's gonna have us do is go here, and then there's a sites link. I think that's where I go to create the website.
Well, I'm sorry, but it won't let me sign in until I do this verification code, and I'm not getting it to my phone because of the coverage here.
Let me just watch you guys, since I'm going to be here next year, I'm not going to create one. I wasn't quite sure what this was about.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, well, maybe there was something I was going to learn to finish the year with. You know, I didn't know it was, because I did, like I said, created a real simple one through Weebly. It's just a place where I can tell the kids when tests are
Uh-huh.
and things like that, so it's not real.
My website. This is my website for the library. And it's very basic and very simple, but like, I can't ever figure out how to add, you know, when I want to give messages on there, and it takes me a really long time to do one thing. And so then I end up not updating it ever.
All right, I apologize for that. Let me explain what this is. Because my account is the administrator for the district, I have to do a separate authentication. It's called two-step verification, and I get a text to my phone with a code in it that will let me type this in so that it knows it's me. So it's just a secondary security thing that Google does so that no one can sign in as me. And that protects your account too. So the first thing is finding the site section. I hope all of you guys have found that. Great. Okay, we're going to walk through this. The little tiles up at the top are called apps, and one way of doing it is just to click on sites, and that's a real easy way to get to it.
Oh, click on sites, you said?
That little collection of apps up there. And you're welcome to use your email and do what you need to do, because I think you're going to be more interested in the second session.
Really?
Yeah, probably, because I do want to start from,
Okay,
like,
from
start to
scratch.
finish, yeah. At least
Well,
at this part.
hopefully I can learn some of the different tools I didn't know before.
Well, and I can work one-on-one with you if you want to do, like, maybe fix any problems that you're having with the Google sites. I kind of heard maybe you're talking about some of it went bold or some font probably
Well,
messed up.
it's mostly, it just takes me forever to figure out how to do one thing on the stuff. So
Uh-huh.
anyway, go ahead and then I'll ask questions.
Okay,
as we go.
all right. And there are some things, I mean, Google Sites is not the best by far to create a website in. It's just something that we have that's a real basic tool to kind of get you familiar with how to use and build a site. And the key with any website really is just maintaining it. And that's, you know, if it's easy to maintain and you can get to it simply, like when you're in your email and you think, oh, I want to go to sites, that's why we're showing you this, because it's something that you can get to and remember to do and update. Because the bad thing about any of these websites that you create online for free is, oh, what was my login to it, or how do I get to it, or sometimes sites shut down too. You know, Wix, Weebly, they may not be around forever, so some things like Google, we know will always be there. So that's one of the reasons that, well, always in quotes, they'll be there for a while. Google will be at least. The main thing is, and actually I want to have you look first and then we'll do the hands-on. That way we can kind of, you can see it and then do it. So we're going to click create here. And we want to give the name, a site name. And right here is an important part. I would generally use your username, or you could say like library, PCMS library, whatever you want to call it. The link is kind of important for this site location path, because sites.google.com is a big site, and then USD250 narrows it down to just us, and then that last little section, which I'm calling Google Sites Demo, but you could call your username or whatever, really helps us to locate it, helps the whole world to locate your site. And we can go with themes. We'll talk about, you know, templates, I guess, later, but you and I talked about that. We can get some preloaded images in there. If you're a math teacher, you can have the little, you know, plus sign or calculator. Some themes are available. I'll probably just bring that up so you can kind of get an idea. They're broken up into categories. School and education. There's some pretty good ones. You know what? You want me to turn the lights down a little bit?
One of them,
Yeah.
That might help. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see this way, but it's there's a couple there.
Yeah, for the library one, I used a template.
Which one do you remember? Was it under
was
schools?
specific. It was under schools, and it was one that was made into a library.
Oh, cool.
And so it kind of
Had books
fit.
and things?
Yeah.
Teacher site, math classroom website. Now they're calling it this, but
Before that, I didn't use a template, and
Mhm.
then my site looked very rudimentary, so I ended up liking the templates. It
Yeah,
had more stuff on it.
it really helps to give it a feel or give it a look, and depending on what you're going for here. This is a teacher website, they claim. Real cool. So yeah, feel free when you do this to pick one that you like. Here's even, You know, maybe I should search for library, maybe then it'll come up. Didn't see anything. Nothing. But that's not really what that means. I think this search doesn't really work. Here's a corkboard one. A lot of teachers have used this one. I've seen it. That's pretty neat. That math teacher one I really didn't like. I didn't think it really. Pencils. That's not bad. So the key here is just grab one and hit select when you're done. And then the next step is to click create. This does take a little bit of time here for the first creation of it, and then we're going to come to a point where it'll ask us to provide a description of the site. And you want to take your time with this, because when people search online, a lot of times when you do a search, you'll get some content with that at the bottom of your search results, and it'll say something to the effect of what the site's about, and really, if you don't put anything in your description, it's kind of hard to find anything online. So this next part is fairly important.
Once it's done, can you go back and edit what your description is? You know, like if I
Yes.
wanted to go back now and change my description, could I
Yes.
go and edit it?
Yeah, let's look and see. I believe it's right here. So the way I got to that was go to the little gear,
Okay,
if you're in yours right now, and then go to manage site,
okay,
and then you get categories, description, all right here.
okay.
So this site kind of filled in, or this template kind of filled in a lot of the information for my site. It made these links along the side, and it created these categories for me so that all I need to really do now is change them. Here's curriculum. Here's some newsletters that they've posted in here. This is a section called a file cabinet, and what you can do is you can add files to it, like Word documents, newsletters, anything that you want to post that you've already made and are probably on your computer. PDF files, and you just hit add, and it'll create links to all of these things, and you can just direct people to go to my website, click on this, and there it is. And that's the simplicity that you want to create for somebody that's looking at your site. Do we want to look at a few sites, or do you want to get started? Maybe creating your own?
It's on you all.
Huh?
It's on you all, whatever.
Should I just look at a few?
I'd like to look at a couple actually, so I
Okay.
can see what the heck it is I'm doing.
Template.
Sure. I think that's a great idea. Let's go back here. The way that you can get to these on your own, or if you want to watch me, is again to go to sites. And then these are sites that I've created. This is the site we created today. These little yellow tags underneath, these represent categories. So I put mine in the category of technology. I made the Staff Development Center website. It's in Staff Development, Technology, and Technology Education. And then I have another site called USD250 Google Apps Help, which I can give you the link, I can email the link to you. And it really goes through some things, common problems that people have with Google sites.
What
And
are
there's
the
some videos.
purpose of those tags that you put on?
The purpose of those is really to help narrow down how to get to your site.
So
For
it's
instance.
like a search term that you're,
Right. If we use this navigation that we're talking about here where we go into sites, the way to look at this is you have here listed the sites that you created, deleted sites, which you don't have to worry about, but browse sites. When people click on this, when you're about to click on this, here's where those tags really come in useful. You could go to all sites, you could look at just third grade sites, you could look at kitchen managers, English. All these tags represent sites that people in our district
so
have
did
created.
they give you a listing of tags to choose from, or did you in your head come up with your own tags?
I came up with my own, and all of these people came up with their own. Like, we even have gifted education. So when we click on that, we've got 3 different gifted education. One looks like the middle school, maybe they made another one for SIS, and then we look at elementary Lakeside.
So do you think I did that when I did mine?
It's possible. Let's see if there's library. Here's library right here. And we get Lakeside Library Media Center, Meadowlark Library, West Side, another one for Meadowlark, and here's PCMS.
There's me.
Let's see.
I didn't screw up.
So this is yours. Or is this an older one?
Well, see, I had an older one that I thought I deleted.
I see. See, this has the link to the old AR server, so we'll need to update that.
But this is my website.
Oh, so that's not
whereas-
it?
Yeah, this is,
Oh, okay. Go ahead and go up to the gear, and let's get it to list here in library.
Yeah, let's watch her.
Go to manage site. It's right there. And then
see, I
under,
didn't do anything.
yeah, there's no category, so it's kind of hard to find. So we'll want to put library for sure.
So these are the little tags.
Mm-hmm.
Put PCMS.
Yeah, I would
Should I
too.
put PC?
Well, just spaces between all the different things that would describe what your site is about.
Like PCMS Rockin' Library, so people see that and they'll want to click on yours.
Would I put anything out? Well,
Let me see what other tags there are here that people have already created. You can put 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, because all the people that are involved in the middle school are also in those grades. You could put in Pittsburg, you could put in USD250.
do I put commas in between? Or?
No, actually, in this case, we only need spaces. Some websites and some tools
But
out
if
there do
there's
require commas.
6th base grade, is that gonna tag it as separate things?
It does say, yeah, you would want a comma in that case unless you had separate words, just separate words.
Here, I'll just-
Let me turn the light on for you now.
Okay.
That's cool. You could do Pittsburg, USD250 if you want. I noticed a lot of them have that. And I would make USD250 one word, because unless you put a, oh, I guess that would work. Yeah, that would work. Whichever. And the notice we don't need to worry about. That's only if it's, we don't really need the description.
So that other site that came up
Mhm.
there when you went, that
That
I
was-
thought
must have
I
been an older
deleted,
one.
so did I not delete it? 'Cause
Well,
I
here's
don't
the
want
key.
it up there anymore.
Remember this first landing page that I showed you? We have my sites, deleted sites, and browse sites. So deleted sites actually comes in very handy to know about for you. Even though you deleted it, it's like putting it in your trash can. It's not actually gone yet. It should show, let's go ahead and save this, but it should show in your deleted sites.
Okay.
So let's go back to the top, where there's, on the right-hand side, where there's a collection of apps. Let's go to the main landing page for sites. And then you can see the deleted sites there on the left. So that site was not one that you had made, possibly. Maybe Cheryl Larson did.
Okay.
Or not Cheryl
Oh.
Larson.
We
Cindy
know
Pfeiffer.
it's Pfeiffer,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so I got rid of all mine.
Right, this one is just apparently from way back.
So then how do I go back?
You go to my sites, you know.
See, this is why it's so.
You just think of it as,
And it opens it up all the time again. I have all these windows.
just think of it as that landing page gets you to the first part. And then the next thing is, there's those three categories. Deleted sites, which you don't even need to worry about. Browse, if you want to look at other people's sites. And then the first one is my sites.
Then
And that's
how
the
do I,
main one.
okay, so this is the regular site, and then this is the.
Editable version.
Is that right? Because it has the little.
Mhm.
Okay.
And in some cases, you may want to look at it both ways. A lot of times I'll leave those tabs open and see what the public would see, how it would look formatted and done, and then how I see it behind the scenes where I can edit it, and there's places for me to change fonts and stuff like that. So you probably want to type a description too there under your preferences. The little gear gives you a lot more options. This is the Pittsburg Middle School library site, something to that effect. This will help you get found on Google. If somebody does that search, like I said, we'll have some information actually coming up, which would lead people to actually go to it.
You put anything else under there other than exactly what it is?
You can put like a paragraph. If you want, let's make a new tab and I can show an example, or I'll show an example up here so everybody can see it. This is really something that's automatic, and I know you all know when you do a Google search, but I want to show you where this would come in handy. So if I go to Google and I search for Pittsburg Middle School Library specifically, here's what we're talking about. We have a link to a web page, which will bring us straight to a web page. This part is the description, okay? So descriptions are a couple of sentences up to a paragraph. The key here is this information is what makes me think to click on this site. If there's nothing here, probably won't be clicked on. So you got to have like a description. Even though this says Pittsburg Middle School Great Schools, below that we show a link, and below that we show a description. If I read in here something and it doesn't interest me, then I'm just going to go to the next link. So this is your tagline, this is your description, your chance to get people to click on your site here. And here's a middle school Facebook page. Were you aware of that? For the library?
No.
This is just the middle school itself.
So who created that?
A lot of times, Facebook will create a lot of public places on their internal site. So no one actually, it didn't look like anybody actually posts anything or manages it. It's basically just information.
Okay.
And you know, St. Mary's has one. It gives people that chance to do the likes and we're here and everything by creating that actual site.
So
Oh,
would
here's
I
one.
use that Facebook?
You could, high school did,
How-
here's one.
But if that's already created, then how do I be the?
You have
how
to
do I
claim
become
it.
the manager? of
You
it?
have to claim it.
I have to claim it.
Mhm.
How do I do that?
I'm not real sure.
Okay.
It's not something that, you know, I really get into. It's, you know, it's Facebook. It's really more of a social thing.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, things like that probably will have to be checked with like Lonnie or the new administrator in the future here to see if that's something they want to do. Because as soon as they put things on Facebook, they become public.
Mhm.
And another thing you might think about in creating your site is, you know, you're putting content on there for anybody to see. So if you have pictures of students or something like that,
You have to make sure.
yeah, make sure you get that cleared. You are in control, so you're making this site as a district employee, but if you put those pictures up there, you're more likely liable for anything that a parent has said, this picture should not be, if this student should not be online or something. We need to watch out for that. You know, we have a whole PR director, Zach, and that's why I recommend when you're done with your site, let's send him the link and have him look it over and make sure there's nothing on there that would get us in trouble for posting things. So here we have the sites and these categories, and we wanted to go through a couple examples here. Here's one for debate. This is a high school debate website. This one's really neat. She's got the calendar in there, And that's the real cool thing about using Google Sites. It's real easy to integrate a calendar. If you're already putting events in your school calendar and you get them in your email and they're going into your calendar, those events can be made public if you choose, and you have the option of whether the event's public. You don't want to put in dentist appointment and have it come up in a public calendar, obviously. So you get those tools, and I can show you that. We'll cover that if you like. This calendar here is completely public. It's something she's created. She's got several sections. She's got results, which I'm sure the kids like. They've got their own custom logo up here at the top.
So my template that I chose didn't include a calendar, but I could go in and
Yep.
insert a calendar.
Yep. A calendar can be thought of as a widget or an add-on type feature that lets you, we can go to a library of widgets like calendar and other things. What's happening is this mouse keeps falling down because this is on a podium, and every time it falls down it goes blank, and I'm trying to prevent that from happening. It's kind of difficult. But, so she's even got research links. She's thought about her class and why people would use the site and broken it down. So this is a real good one. Let's go back here. We looked at gifted education. There's libraries. Let's look at the high school library just as an example. Oh, West Side Library, one of them. This is when Doris made the website for West Side. She now works at Medlar. I bet that test, yeah, that's the old link to AR. And what you're seeing is what happens a lot of times with websites. They get outdated because people don't update them. So it needs to be an easy way for you to update. And science, let's go to this one. Mr. Downing's is really updated. He's got a really good site. How you doing, Brian?
Great.
This is a really good example.
I'm not a retired teacher that's here. You're all here today, that's awesome.
I want my money, my big $15 a day, I'm using my sick days.
Yeah, there you go, yeah, 'cause Sue, Sherry.
It's all about money.
Well, they're all here. Marty Sowers.
Mr. Downing took this class last year, and I think I helped him with this section here, the calendars. And again, this is a Google Calendar that has been embedded into this website. Doesn't look like there's any events on that calendar. Let's look at physics. None on there. And this third one here. So he's got an exam on Monday that he put there. So if a kid goes to this site, they can look at the calendars if they're in AP Chemistry and know that there's an exam on Monday. One thing that I manage for the district here is I'll go to my sites. Let me get back to that. Again, this little collection of apps, sites, and then my sites. The one I'll take care of is the Staff Development Center website. It has a calendar in it that's used quite frequently. It has a lot of events, you'll see, and that's all managed in Google Calendar. Nothing special has to be done to put this on the web, other than make the link to the calendar, and then you've got all these events showing up.
When you say it's all managed in Google Calendar, it's in that collection of Google apps.
Right.
You go down and you see.
Calendar.
But then if.
You get the option to make it public or not. That's where we were talking about the personal appointments you wouldn't want to show. I'm sorry I cut you off. What were you saying?
No, I'm just thinking. It's just blowing my mind here. So you're good.
That's what we want.
That's what she'll say in her reflection. Dallas blew my mind.
Great. That's what we want.
That would be good for you though, for when you have.
When I have the
Hunger Games
different
dinners
events
and all that
and all
different
that,
stuff.
yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I'm just paranoid that all of Katie's activities will come on there too, but.
Since you have that site already created, do you want to go ahead and add that calendar to yours when you
Yeah.
watch you, since we're just right here?
We'll just have you today. You'll go home with a finished product.
Well, that's the goal for both of you guys.
Well, I'm
The
retired.
goal's limit is $15.
Get my $15.
We
for
already
being here
made that
today.
clear. She's not gonna be sick the rest of the year.
No, but Mitch Regas, he says, I don't know what it is about you, 50, I will give you $15.
Yeah.
Take the day off, Linda. You're so worried about $50, I will give you $50.
I do the same thing.
One of the things you can do is, it's a widget, and we'll have to look around here, I believe it's under, to save this. Go to app scripts.
She's retiring, I'm special ed kid, so I can't put any of my stuff on there due to
Yeah.
confidentiality, so let's just help you build yours.
We're part of the template, all of those different attachments, those are
Okay.
mine.
Those all
So
came
then I,
in.
like, yeah, so I just disabled them.
Okay.
And I wish I could delete them.
So, you've updated as recent as February, so that's
Oh
pretty
my,
good.
but you have no idea, that took me a couple of hours to figure out how to update it,
Right,
so,
right.
yeah, I did that.
Let me look at my notes, see if I can find that real quick.
You feel like by the time you finally get it updated, it's outdated, and it's time to start
Yeah.
over again.
Because I was
Something
trying
else.
to do change wars on there, and then the, gosh, quick fair, and it's just, and I did update the AR testing, so all the.
Maybe
shit
give it to me
there.
if I put some notes on here.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Thank you, by the way, for getting my
Get
two
that
kiddos
on here for
updated
it.
on their dates, I appreciate that. This is their AR stuff.
That's the header, that's the sidebar. So that enabled this editing software. And editing more menu.
See, that's the thing
Well, I'm not gonna be serious.
So we don't want to really do the layout, we want to just manage the site. It may have
See,
something to
aren't
do with your, yeah, it may have something to do with your template though. Because it's a, you know, it's like a non-standard template. Let's call it a calendar, if that's okay with you. Now here's where we insert. Calendar. And the key here too is let's make a calendar that we can make sure and make public, because we don't want irritants on there. So they're gonna come up right here. You've got birthdays and holidays, which you probably don't use.
I didn't have to do anything.
Okay. Let's go
I
to,
pulled it from Facebook.
let's make a new calendar. And we're gonna make it public. Go ahead and call it, what do you want to call it, like PCMS library or something?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then what we want to change here is make this calendar public, share it, and make it public. And that is basically it. We're just going to create it. and it's warning you that anything you put on there is gonna be unlit. And so,
So then I have to make sure that when I
you're
put something on
selecting
it,
that, yep.
selecting that.
Yep,
color.
and you can make it a different color, which will make it really easy. You see?
Mhm.
And you can change the size, but we'll just use default. You want month view probably, or week?
Yes.
Week could be a little smaller, which could
So
help.
where's monthly?
Here's the
Oh, got
view,
it.
you can change it to week,
Mhm.
or you can even do an agenda. Agenda's kind of nice, like if you want this on the front page, and say you are a classroom teacher and you have events that are happening throughout the week, and you put them on your calendar anyway, you could put an agenda list of a calendar, and it'll give a breakdown of Friday, we got a quiz, and then Monday, it's gonna show next week, something else. And I believe an agenda is about a 7-day event.
So if at one particular time I decided I wanted to give that agenda view, I could just
Mhm.
go in here and edit.
Just edit the
this.
calendar that's here, yes. But we could change it to month or week. or-
Month.
Okay. That makes the most sense generally. So that's all it's gonna look like
But
here.
now what page is that? Like, how do I access? Because that's not the front page of my site, is it?
Now let's save it. We had that option to change it, what path we want it to be at. Let's go to what we see here.
Okay, so then where did it go?
We will have to more likely link to it and edit the sidebar. So we can add a section here. So you got your photo album. Would you want it on the main page, or would you want it over here, or would you want it in the tab?
Probably on the sidebar.
Okay.
Library information, online catalog, histories. Maybe under library information.
Okay. So let's
Where'd
go.
you go? Hang on, you're going so fast. I'm trying to keep track.
We're on this page. We need to create a link, so let's go back.
Stuff in your way.
Manage the site.
See all these tabs? That one comes in?
Just close it. Let's go to the mouse. Edit site layout, we can do it there too. So, let's edit this one. And let's add page. And let's do the calendar. That's where you want it, right?
Uh-huh.
There we go.
Okay.
Close that. And again, the tabs are really useful though, because you can look at it.
Wait. Did I have events on that page or no? Before? Or did it have nothing, library information, or maybe I just made that up?
Well, I think what you want, what you had, I guess, was,
It didn't replace it with the calendar, right?
no, you can add it. Here, we can go change it again. Let's go back to manage site.
To where I still have whatever link was there before.
Was it manage site or edit layout?
You did,
It was edit layout.
Layout.
Yeah. Edit site layout. And
let's see how it says library news.
that was there.
Yeah, that was there, but then when you put the calendar, it said calendar.
Okay, so this PCMS library is just your home page. You had a link to home in there. So we can change that. So we've got PCMS library and calendar. And there's
There it
calendar.
shows, okay, so I have everything, right?
It looks like it from here. The reason I would close this down, and close this, is just to refresh that page and click on it again. Now what's it look like? PCMS library, because you're on that page. Then you click on calendar. There's your calendar. And then if you want to go back to that page, then you get it lit up again. Right, and so,
I don't edit the calendar here,
No,
I
you
have to
don't
go
need to.
to
the tool.
those little-
Mhm. So like if you're an email, for example, again,
I go there.
go here and then calendar.
And so then, when I edit the calendar, I don't have to go back to the website and say update calendar. When I
It's
do
done.
it here, it automatically goes to the
Yep,
site.
because it's actually pulling that calendar.
Okay.
So
Well,
let's,
that's handy.
it is really handy. Go ahead and put an event in today, like maybe the
I
afternoon
have
session.
so many tabs. I don't, what is today? This day?
Yep. Now, the calendar is key here. You don't want to do your personal calendar. Drop down to the public one, PCMS library, and then create the event. By default, it's going to go into your own calendar. So now the way to check that is go over to your other tab, just leave this open, and try your site again. Click on it. Click on your calendar. And there it is. So let's,
Okay, well, that's,
yep, let's close that one since we don't want to keep all these tabs open. And I would leave that open, and now we've got the calendar open. Yeah, and if you're done with that, or if you want to make some more
so
events,
what's the difference between?
one's just not updated, you have to hit refresh to see what the updated site looks like.
Is that good?
Yeah, and then you get right to the site there.
Open up another tab, just,
Yeah.
okay. That's almost just too much for my brain right now.
Well, let's go ahead and, let's have you guys go ahead and create them if you want. Click create. This is the hands-on section.
Wait, okay, now
You
where
can
do I
make
go? My sites?
Yep, on the left-hand side it says create.
Oh, right here, okay.
You could make a grandma's website or something.
There you go.
No.
And
Okay.
let's choose a template. Let's pick something.
So go to select a template to use.
Mhm. Browse the gallery.
Oh, go here.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then there's different sections there, business,
Oh, I
activities.
see, okay.
And when you click on those, you'll have the option to change.
Okay, good. Schools and educations is where you want to go.
And there's others in there to look at. There was a nice purple one that I used to recommend to teachers because it looked consistent with the site colors.
This is science classroom website. It's kind of purplish blue.
That's cool.
No, I mean, is that the one you kind of, no, that wasn't the one.
There was one called Math, actually, and it had that same look.
Oops, sorry, I should have closed that out. There it is, school education. Teacher. Got those pencils. Now, where do these come from? They're just
Things
whatever.
that people create.
Created.
Yeah.
And they just put them on here to show you.
Mhm.
And the blank was you'd be doing your own, so.
Right.
Oh, there's the
Sometimes-
math one. They've just used different colors.
Mhm.
I mean, that's the one you were.
What's this little guy down here? Go down again. Let's see that. Huh. Did you see any you like?
Yeah, okay, there was some, I was trying to see what all this was doing.
That little guy. That's kind of cool. Looks, I mean, it looks professional anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta select it. And then that's the thing at the bottom, that little button that says select when you're ready.
rhyme or reason to how they're on here,
Not really.
okay.
Yeah, they're a
There's
little out of
names.
order.
Teacher website, a basic teacher website, easy to edit. There we go.
Here's an answer.
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah, we're gonna go with that.
Cool. Hit select on the bottom left there.
There it is.
So you just finally selected one, Debbie. Maybe I'm being too
Yeah.
picky for just practicing.
Oh, I just found one that said basic and easy to edit.
Oh,
I went for
that's-
ease.
Yeah.
Look at it, there's a bunch down there. I think it'd be cool for you to find one specific to your discipline.
I'm not found on that one. Maybe I should just go up and do, maybe it's just a generic one.
And naming our site, you said that's where we put our username in?
Yeah, I would.
That basic or the whole at USD?
No, I would just do that because see how short your address is now? Yours. If you want to write that down, you could go to it at home.
Okay. Now, what do you just hit return and it goes on into the next thing? Or do I come
Click
down
off
here?
of it. And up here at the top, click create, that little red button.
Just got all those purple circles.
I tell you, some of the ones that are the best sometimes are just real simple and clean.
What did I not do? What did I do? Okay, now
There
what
you
do I
go.
do?
On the bottom left, click select.
Select, gotcha.
And now give your site a name, just type like your username or something simple and short.
What, just L. Baldwin?
Now you can see what it's created. sites.google.com/a/usd250.org/lbaldwin. You can get to it as long as you go into your email, but it'll always be available on the internet at that address if you want to write that address down.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what you would want as long as you're employed. What I mean is, that would be simple. I mean, I'm talking to myself, but I mean, I see what you're saying, how that would always pull up. So if you were employed and they knew, oh, this person's employed, they would go, okay, gotcha.
And that's what we give to Zach to post on the website.
Right,
Just
that's
spin
what I'm
it.
saying.
Does it spin forever?
It does
Oh,
create
there
a
we
while
go.
to create. Yeah, look at your picture there.
I'm Mr. Barr.
Mr. Barr. You know, the example had a woman in that picture though. Did you notice that?
I did not notice.
Yeah, it was, so maybe it just grabs random pictures of people.
That's funny.
I'm gonna put Will Smith there and make everybody think that
That's
he's
great.
in my classroom.
I tell you, let's try it. Let's try and do it real quick, because that's funny. Hit edit up here.
Now-
Click on his
now what did
picture.
you see? Now what did you tell me to do?
Let's go to create up at the top left. Click on that button.
Okay, create.
So that's the one you want to use, huh? Go ahead and go make a new tab and let's do a Google search for Will Smith.
Okay, how do I do that?
Click on this right here.
This?
And then just click on Google.
Just click on Google. You're talking, oh, here, okay. You're talking to someone who doesn't ever do any of this.
Type in Will Smith.
Will Smith. The official website.
Let's get a smaller one. Go
Yeah.
back, go back. That'll take over your whole site. Click on images up at the top there.
This is funny.
And then, that third one over might work pretty
That
good,
one,
yeah.
yeah, that purple will go well.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now what do I do? Just click and
Just click
double
on it
click
once, yeah. And view the image. And then say File, Save As, and we can shrink that down.
Okay.
All right, one of the things you can do now is we can make a new page if you'd like. And, or we can edit a page that's there, like About the Teacher. If we go to About the Teacher, we can edit this and put things in there about you. So we can hit this little edit, which looks like a pencil,
That was on there for real.
and we can change any of this right here. You can type whatever you want there, and then when you save it, I'll show you what it looks like.
Watchdog Dad. Next, Watchdog Dad. All right, buddy, what's next?
All right, did you save it on the desktop or somewhere?
Yes.
Okay.
Save
Now, are we
as.
gonna delete this?
We can delete the site when we're done, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Well, Oh, I'm not deleting Will, this is too funny.
Well, I know, but, okay.
All right, so let's go back to,
What am I demonstrating
Let's close
enthusiasm?
it.
What did you tell me?
you're just changing the text in there if you want. And then you can save it, you can make it bold.
I don't know, I'm showing my ignorance, but here I would type something about me, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'll just delete this part. and then
Right, that's what
start.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
but you're just saying something about, so it can be, okay.
How do I do this where, what I want to happen is to where I can click on her name and go to a page
Oh, great.
about her.
Have you already got that page created?
I don't think so.
Okay, let's save this and I'll show you a real quick and easy way to do that. So let's make a new page at the top where it's got the little plus right there. And we're gonna call this one for Miss German. Or which one was that? Schultz, sorry. There you go. Now, you see this link that's created? It automatically put a dash in there because you have a space in it. So that URL is how you would directly get to that place. But
Okay.
since you're in Google Sites, you can just say link to it. But let's just create that page. Does it need to be under 6th grade or just dump it in the top level?
It needs to be, the 6th grade tab, yeah.
Okay, let's put it under 6th grade.
Uh-huh.
And then let's hit create. Sorry. go back.
No, you're fine, mine's just play.
Okay, so you're at that page, right?
Okay, yeah.
Let's get to the actual page you want to edit again. And leave this
Oh, what
page.
happened?
6th grade,
Oh,
right?
here,
Yeah.
so,
Now let's edit this page, change it to edit mode.
what am I doing?
The pencil changes you to edit mode. And select just her name. And then you want to go to, I believe it's insert. Let me look.
Or link it?
You do, yeah, but there's a way to do it from the menu, I think. Make a link there. And then that brings up this thing that you can look under 6th grade. Keep scrolling down here.
How do you know all these different steps? Did you go through presentations learning all this, or did you just set up and figured it out?
I've figured it out a long time ago, but I have taught this class like 3 times now.
See, it's not
You don't see
here.
the middle of the page. Okay. Go to my recent changes would be another way to see it. And the third way would be to actually have the address. So the most recent change was hers. Okay. And then click OK. Do you want to open in a new window? You probably don't because you don't like all these tabs. And you know you don't, because what that'll do, well, go ahead and do it and I'll show you what it does. I think you know what it does though.
But then you can't get back to it, yeah, I don't want to do that.
All right, let's save it. You did check the box for open new window, so,
I did.
yeah, but that's okay. It's fine, because I wanted to show you anyway. So let's go to 7th grade, just to go off of it. And then let's click to 6th grade. And now let's click on Schultz. Okay, new tab, right, because new window. So let's close it out. Let's edit this page. Let's select her name again.
Oh,
And you can actually, if you moused over it, look what you got there. Change. Or remove. And don't. Yep, you got it. Yep. Okay. Now save it again. Top right.
okay, now when I did this, I typed in the
Dash.
wrong. No, but it should have a C in there, so how can I go and change that?
Okay, we're gonna have to, it's gonna have to be 2 steps, because not only do you now have to change the name of the page that you created, you'll have to go back to this page and update it as well.
So,
So first step is, I wanna show you one thing before you do that. Click on that now. It keeps it within that page. That's what you really want, because it does, you don't like all those tabs open. So now that we're on her page, let's, that's always gonna be there unless you delete that page. Let's make a new page, would be the easiest at this point.
so I'm,
There we go. let's just choose a different location and put it under 6, because it's wanting to put it under that page that you've already made. Yeah. So actually, go to the top again, and just leave it right there. Because this is the one we'll have to get rid of, right?
Uh-huh.
All right, and then create at the top.
Just go through all this just to change the spelling of the name.
It creates a lot more work.
Oh, I screw up, okay.
Go to your 6th grade page. Oh, stay on the page real quick. We didn't save at the top. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you that. Now that it's saved, it brings you back out of the edit mode, you see. You have to hit the pin to edit again. Go to your 6th grade. Edit again. Mouse over. Click in there, I guess. And then hit change. And there you go. You can select, you go to site pages, for example. This gives you that readout of everything, which is probably the easiest to find. My recent changes. Change. Simple, right? Like 15 steps.
See, this is why I get discouraged.
Well, and that's, any site editor is probably gonna be like
this.
that, yeah, because this is as basic really as they come.
Well, I've done websites with iSite or iWeb,
Mhm.
I guess.
Yeah, and it was a content management system like Joomla or something.
Whatever it was super easy and it was drag and drop and
Mhm.
not anything like this, so.
So did you build the pages in
I built it
Dreamweaver?
and then I
Yeah.
gave it to, in iWeb, and then I
Mhm.
gave whatever it was to the tech person and they
Mhm.
made it magic and
Yeah.
figured out.
And that, they were doing a little bit of work on that end for you,
Probably.
for the organization of it.
Uh-huh.
You're in complete control of this.
Okay.
So you wanna do another one for this journey?
Well, I think I need to try to play it and try to do it by myself.
Okay.
Because you don't go home with me.
Yeah, I'll watch. And I'll have to double check when this class is over. Is it 9:30
Oh,
or 9?
I thought it was 9:20.
20.
See how that was printed?
Yes.